My name's Tab, and I like to talk about books. I love romantasy. Sorry, not sorry. Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Have not read it. I am basing pretty much this whole reading vlog around this book. The third and final book in the trilogy, I believe, comes out in April. And I don't want to be left behind while everyone else is reading it and talking about it. So I figured I will make a reading vlog all about starting romantasy series. Now listen, I don't know if this is romantasy. I don't know if it's fantasy romance or romance fantasy. All I know is it has both of them in it, and it has romantasy as a tag on Goodreads. So I'm going to pick up three separate books, the first book in three series, and I'm going to read them and see if I want to continue reading on with the series or not. So, first book is Powerless in the Powerless trilogy. And then I'm not sure what books two and three are going to be, but keep watching to follow along and see what my ratings and reviews are. I wish y'all could see the setup I have for my camera right now. I have my end table, a book, a candle, a book, a candle, two books, and then my camera on a tripod. And I still feel like it doesn't work. Everyone is probably like, what the heck are those pictures up there? So they're pictures of, or like metal, I don't know what the heck that would be called, of women reading books. And this is like my little reading corner in my living room. But when I watch these videos back and I look and I just see like feet and legs, people are probably like, what's this shit got going on behind her? But yeah, it's just, I need to figure out a way to like even make this bigger because no one really cares what my legs look like. I feel like it's more distracting to like just see legs, but who knows? I'll get the hang of this one day. Okay, so I am 15 pages into Powerless, and I believe I've watched multiple vlogs about these books when they first came out, and never have I heard Peyton. That's the female main character. I'm reading, I'm like, who's this chick? I have never heard that name in my life. I have heard Peyton, and then Kay, Kai, I'm not sure. This is like the one time I wish I kind of listened to audiobooks so I could kind of like, circle back to see exactly how these are pronounced. What gets me is like these are regular names, but they're just spelt differently. And it's like, why? Why do fantasy books do this all the time? It's like, where are my Susan and Jax at? But then even if someone was named Jax, it would be Jax, and then my mind still wouldn't understand that it's pronounced Jack. So at the end of this, Peyton is going to be Paula, and Kay is going to be Kenneth. So I am about 22% into Powerless, and I think it's starting to get good. There's about 500 pages, so I'm only in the book, I'm 101 pages in, so I'm not that far in, but I've gotten to the part where they go and they're chosen for the trials and they're all meeting each other, and I can already like start to feel the tension between Kay and Peyton. I'm just trying to figure out how they're gonna make this work. I'm guessing Peyton, like every female character in romantasy series, she must have some hidden talent that she never knew that she had, but she's gonna come and conquer and basically be worthy of marrying or being with the prince, I'm guessing. I'm not 100% sure, but I know in the book it talks about how like the dad told her that she's like special or something, and I don't know if he meant special because she has no powers and she's got to fake it till she makes it, or if she has a super special power that no one can guess. I don't know. I mean, obviously we're not going to get like a happy ever after and it's going to be tied up because there's the series is complete. The third and last book comes out next month, but it seems to be getting good so far, and I just can't wait to see like who is it, Blair or one of the girls? Is she like a love interest of Kay? I don't know. I'm excited to keep going. I obviously do not know who Peyton ends up with. The third book isn't even out yet, but this author is doing such a good job at creating like tension between the characters because like both of the princes are seeming interested in Peyton, and is Kit just doing this to like egg on his brother Kay? Do they both like find interest in her? Are they intrigued just because she's like a female and she saved the prince, didn't know it was the prince, and now that she knew it was the prince, she's like kind of PO'd that she saved the prince? I I get what the hype about this book is. It's very like YA romantasy. Kay is definitely that character, the arrogant, cocky, confident, um he fits all of that to like an absolute T. And I cannot wait to keep reading this. But I know I feel the romance and that tension bubble isn't going to burst because they still have to go through all the trials. When the heck can you possibly fit in like a fleeting romance when you're trying to like fend for your life? The only thing that like I am grateful for is that it's not a one person wins trial. So people can help each other out, I'm guessing, if they want to. And it's not like everyone but one person needs to die. So I think like the girls that are being like mean to Peyton will eventually like they'll all come together, because right now of course they hate them, but Peyton's probably gonna like save them in some heroic way, and they're going to like have to thank them. It's very predictable because obviously Peyton, this is not a spoiler because I don't know, I'm just assuming she has some special secret hidden ability that she doesn't even know about, and she's gonna end up like saving everything. I don't know. I'll have to read to see, and obviously once I find out I won't spoil it, but it's just so fun to read this. It's so fast paced, and I can't wait to see what the trials are going to involve. So I finished my first book in the three books that I plan to read that are romantasy. That was Powerless by Lauren Roberts. I ended up finishing this on my Kindle. I ended up rating it 3.75 stars, and there was no spice, maybe a slight kiss, but really no spice. It follows Malachi and Peyton, which I think in a previous clip I kept calling him K because I listened to, I want to say it was a podcast and they kept calling him K, but as you read the story, his name is Malachi, so it's not K, it's Kai. It follows him and Peyton. Peyton is a poor girl living in the slums. She's 18 and
Kai is a prince. His brother Kit, his older brother Kit, is set to he's the heir to the throne. So after their father passes away, Kit will take the throne, and then Kai will become his enforcer, which basically enforces all the laws. He's the murderer. He's literally the king's right hand man, does everything that the king says, does all of his dirty work, I guess. So there's an encounter that happens between Kay and Peyton, which then puts Peyton on everyone's radar. It involves trials. There's three trials, which weren't as boring as I thought. Um, and I was under the impression that the trials were just like anyone who, like, no one really has to die. It's just about like surviving each trial, but I was wrong. I think the whole purpose is to kill as many people to obviously make your chances better of winning the whole thing. But it's not everyone has to die. There's not just one winner. There is a winner, but other people can also, survive. So it pretty much follows that. And then there's a huge upheaving towards the end of the book. It's lies, deceit, and this book definitely loves to break noses. The amount of noses that were broken during this book, like my nose hurts. I mean, I'm sick, but my God, I was just like, man, how don't these people know that this is coming? But the book was really good, ends on such a huge cliffhanger. Oh my God, the chemistry between Kai and Peyton was so angsty. It was slow burn. It is obviously a YA book. There is nothing that goes on between them, but I am so interested to read the second book because I'm trying to figure out how they can like overcome this. I understand how Peyton could because she knows the full story, but I don't think Kit and Kai know the full story. So I'm interested to pick up with that hopefully soon. I'd love to read and be caught up before the third book comes out next month. And that brings me to the second book that I decided to pick up in this reading vlog. I'm going to pick up One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I have heard such good things about this book. It's the first book in a duology. So I feel like this is going to be a lot more feasible to feel that I could actually complete this because there's only two books. So I am going to pick this one up. I guess it follows Elspeth, and it says she needs a monster and the monster might be her. Elsbeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie Mistlock kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her, he keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. A maiden must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom in this dark, lush, gothic fantasy debut. Okay, did I see a picture? Oh, I did see a picture. Oh, wow. And the author's picture is front and center. So, yeah, I'm going to start reading that and I will be back to update. Okay, so I am about 60 pages into One Dark Window and I don't know what's going on. It's about Elspeth and I guess she's like diseased from a fever and she was able to not be captured and killed. And she has like the nightmare is a voice inside of her head that's there all the time besides when she sleeps. Like, go figure, something called a nightmare doesn't bother her at nighttime. And there's like these providence cards that are like tarot cards, and there was such a limited amount that were given out like many years ago, and the people who hold them are like really super special, and they're like magic cards and they can deceive you. But inside Elspeth's head, the nightmare can tell who has one of these cards or not. Like, He talks to her mostly, sometimes, I guess, yeah, sometimes in like riddles. It's really confusing. I'm not sure where like this story is going, but it is quite interesting. There's strange family dynamics. There's princes and getting married off, and I'm just trying to figure out how, like, I clearly just need to keep reading. But so far, it's been extremely interesting. I'm just trying to figure out, like, where's it going? I am here to update. I am sick. But aside from that, I'm on page 198 in One Dark Window, and it's probably the middle of the book, and it's starting to pick up a little bit. I was very confused on what like the whole purpose of this book was, but they do explain, and now they're on like a horseback ride to do a heist, and it's pretty good. I'm still confused about the nightmare, if the nightmare is correlated to anyone in general, or if it's its own entity, and if it's going to be stuck inside of her forever, or if they can do something to get the nightmare out since he's been trapped for like 500 years. I don't know. So far, it's pretty interesting.
I am back because I ended up finishing One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I rated this a 3 out of 5 stars and 1 out of 5 on my spicy scale. This book was pleasantly surprising. I mean, it was very confusing in the beginning to understand kind of like the magic system and how it necessarily worked. But once I got to part 3 in the book, it was super quick. I loved it, and I already placed a hold on my library for the second book in this duology. So I think it was really good. It does end on a cliffhanger. There is found family, lies, mystery. I'm so interested to see what's going to happen between Elspeth and Raven. And basically, the story is trying to find these magic, they're kind of like tarot cards. And the person who, like, can collect all 12 of them can somehow, like, rid the fever, rid the mist, and kind of everyone can live in, like, a homeostasis. But of course, I think that's only if you want to do good by it. I don't know if it gives you like other powers. So if it falls in with someone who's kind of like evil, it won't work, because if that's the case, then who cares who finds it as long as someone gets rid of the fever. So I'm interested to see how the second book is going to go, because this was really hard for me to catch on with in the beginning. Like, you have to tap the cards and then you tap them to use the magic, to not use the magic. It was a lot, but it was worth it. And the third and last book that I'm going to be reading in this video is going to be Belladonna. I have been wanting to read this so much, and I feel like this is a YA book too. And it's funny that I feel a lot of romantasy books are YA, and that's usually my least favorite. Like, I like new adult, regular adult, young adult. Sometimes the characters can just be very like angsty and immature, and there's tons of miscommunication. But I've been proven wrong. So I am going to start reading this. I don't even really know what it's about. For as long as Signa Farrow has been alive, the people in her life have fallen like stars. Orphaned as a baby, 19-year-old Signa has been raised by a string of guardians, each more interested in her wealth than her well being, and each has met an untimely end. Her remaining relatives are the elusive Hawthorns. Oh, that's funny. I think there was Hawthorns in One Dark Window. I wonder if that's like a Regency, like, fancy name. I don't know.
An eccentric family living at Thorn Grove, an estate both glittering and gloomy. Its patriarch mourns his late wife through wild parties while his son grapples for control of the family's waning reputation, and his daughter suffers from a mysterious illness. But when their mother's restless spirit appears, claiming she was poisoned, Signa realizes that the family she depends on could be in grave danger and enlists the help of a surly stable boy to hunt down the killer. So yeah, I don't know what I thought this book was about, but it was definitely.
I am back, and I wish I had better news. I finished reading Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and this was a miss for me. I rated it 2 stars, and I'm not planning on continuing on with the series. The book just wasn't what I expected. It was like mid 1800s, so very like prim and proper and like gothic backdrop. There was like mystery, murder, lies, death, shadows, masquerade balls. Like it seemed that it would be extremely interesting, but it was just really slow for me. I could not get into it. It did kind of end on a cliffhanger, but not necessarily like a cliffhanger that you have to pick up the second book. It's like a cliffhanger to know what the second book is going to be about. Um, but I did kind of enjoy the characters in this book, which I was surprised with because all these characters are so like stuffy and just too prim and proper for me. I mean, it's mid 1800s. What the heck am I going to expect? But yeah. So to recap on the 3 books that I read in this reading vlog, the first one was Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and I rated that 3.75 stars. The second book I read was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig, and I rated that 3 stars. And the last book I read was Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I ended up rating it 2 stars. So thank you so much for taking your time out to watch this vlog, and I hope to catch you in my next one. Bye.